gonna tell you a little bit about what we're talking about now. I just wanted to turn the camera on here during our meeting because we're talking about, a buyer that wants to, spend $100,000 and live in a 3-bed, 2-bath house in Greenwood. Good luck, right? So, if you do find them, they're bank owned. If you do find them, they're HUD homes. If you do find them, they're an auction. If you do find them, they're, pre-foreclosure on Zillow. If you do, there's all kinds of stuff. They're a short sale, whatever. So, a couple things. One, bank-owned properties absolutely have risks involved in them that other homes don't. So, if you don't want to waste a ton of your time, again, I'm about serving the people and helping them. But the reality is it's going to be very hard to show those homes, and here's how you could potentially get out of showing at least all those bank-owned homes that aren't going to qualify for FHA anyway, right? And the way you do it is you tell them about the deeds. General warranty deed, go back and look at all this, versus special warranty deed, okay? That's where this stuff begins to be like, I'm never going to have to worry about it. And you don't, most of the time. Person-to-person transactions, it's all general warranty deed, which has the 5 assurances. I can't remember every one of them, but it's like, I own the property, and I can transfer it. I didn't put any liens on it. There aren't any liens on it. Nobody's coming after the property. If somebody does, I'll clear it up for you. Okay? That's general warranty deed, something like that. Don't quote me. There's a lot of assurances there that we're transferring property in good, quiet, clean title, and nobody's chasing you down. A bank-owned property is a special warranty deed. Special warranty deed says we own it. There are no liens on it that we currently know about, which is the know about is also on the other one, but there are no current liens on it that we know about. And 3, we own it, so therefore we can transfer it. There are no liens on it that we know about, and we know we didn't put any liens on it. Okay? That's what the bank says. What are we missing? Yeah, they're not telling you nobody's going to chase this house down with a lien. And they're not saying they're going to help you clear it up if there is one found. So, here's the scenario you paint for them, scare them off of bank-owned properties when it's just unreasonable anyway. So here's the deal with bank-owned properties. The bank owns it, we know that, so they can sell it to us. The bank didn't put any liens on it themselves, so we can feel good about that. They are, as far as they know, there's no other liens on it, but there might be that they just don't know about it. So then you're stuck with that because that's not warranted.
This lien could be more than the house.
Absolutely. There could, for instance, and then there's nobody else chasing the house. Okay, well here's the problem. You buy that bank-owned house, then, say these could both happen. Somebody put a roof on the house 6 months ago, bank turns it around, buys it at the sheriff's sale, sells it to you, nobody ever paid the roofer. Because somehow the previous owners finagled that they'll pay him later, and they never paid him because they got foreclosed on. A roofer puts a mechanic's lien on the house, now you owe $10,000 to a roofer. And you can't sell that house without paying him. And he may, ultimately foreclose on you to pay that lien off. Okay? That's one way it could happen. 2, maybe there is a estranged child that you buy this house, it was foreclosed on by the dad gets foreclosed on or whatever, and there's somebody on the title, the ownership, or no, he dies and it's supposed to go to his heirs, right? Indiana, I believe it's 50-50 between spouse and kids. Spouse gets 50, the 2 kids split the other 50. Well, there's an estranged, that's if there's no other rules involved. If it's has to be arbitrated by the courts, yeah. Bunch of weird stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but I think there's some stuff about that. But let's just say, for example, that is the case, because this does happen. somehow you end up, this is just special warranty deed, don't think about the bank yet, but just use it as an example. House, dude dies, house is sold, wife takes her cut of the money, gives the cut of the money half to her son, and you got a special warranty deed on the property for some reason. I don't know why, but for some reason. An estranged daughter of that man, maybe from another marriage and the wife didn't know about it, shows up after closing and says, hey, that was my dad's property. I'm entitled to 25% of it because that other brother got half of 50, I get the other half of 50. You just bought a house where somebody else has 25% interest in, legally on a special warranty deed that wasn't warranted, that nobody else is chasing the property. You don't have title insurance now, you have to pay it. That's on your thing now. So, there are risks involved in buying bank-owned properties that most people do not pay attention to, okay? Most of the time, are you gonna have problems? No, but absolutely you can run. You may not want to, especially these people, because they want they don't have any money, you know? And if they had something like that happen, it'd be in a really bad situation. So, and now you cannot waste your time. So, short sales are another option, but remember, short sales are not bank owned. Short sales are owned by people still. Short sales are what you do instead of getting foreclosed on. If you can get the bank to agree to take, you owe 100 on it, you get the bank to take 80 on it, that's called a short sale. That's not a foreclosure, that's you guys agreeing that they'll take 80 as payment in full for the 100. That transfers as a general warranty deed. Okay, that's normal. That's fine. That takes forever. It's really annoying, and I've got the people you need to work through those a little easier, but the reality is short sales aren't going to work for your clients either, because they're got to get out of their apartment in 30 days or in 60 days. Well, let's not even try short sales. That's a terrible idea. It's not going to work. Bank owned, you have all these risks. So if we can find a home that's in good shape, I'd be happy to show it to you, but I don't want to see you caught in these little bugaboos, okay? That's kind of the idea. Go ahead.
Now, what about the auction?
Like the sheriff's sale? Okay, so there's a couple different types of...
Even have like a part in that.
Right, so there's a couple different types of auctions. One is a sheriff's sale, so it's been foreclosed on, or it's in the middle of this foreclosure proceeding. The last step in the foreclosure, give or take, is the sheriff's sale. That's when all the paperwork's been done. Literally, the people at the sheriff's department will sell the house, auction style, sitting in a little cute room with a bunch of investors normally. You gotta have the money there, cashier's check, or not cash, but a cashier's check basically at the auction right there. We don't really have much of a part to play in there. I mean, you could, assist them and all that and kind of take a fee somehow if you can negotiate with them. But the reality is that's not on you, and that's going to the sheriff's sale, and that has even less.
But can't they come back and take that?
Tax,
or with the tax sale?
only at the tax sales, and at least for us, tax sales, you have a redemption period, a year, where the people can redeem the property back. They can buy it back for the taxes plus 10% to the investor. So if the investor bought it for 100 grand in taxes, the people could pay him 110,000, and they get to keep the house.
But that investor can't touch that property.
The investor can do very little to that property. Yeah, I won't go through all the details, but he can do very little to that property because it's not really his until the redemption period expires. On a sheriff's sale for a foreclosure, you get immediate possession, but you still have to evict people. So both of these situations, you have to evict people. There's people at a tax sale do it all the time. I know people that the house sold on tax sale, they show up at the house, knock on the door, people are still living there. They didn't even know their house was sold, not tax sale, at the sheriff's sale. They didn't know their house sold at the sheriff's sale. They thought they were still talking to the bank about trying to figure out how to work a deal out. And it just showed up, gone. Investor bought it, and they said, well, I'll let you stay here if you pay this much in rent, and blah, 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 blah. And if they would have said no, but we're not leaving, then he would have had to evict them, just like you do any other tenant. And that's more money and more time. And tax sale, there was like no warranties. I mean, you you have to do your own due diligence. There could be a $10 million lawsuit out there against the previous owner that's attached to this house, and you just bought it.
And everybody wants cheap.
Yep.
Cheap, and it's like,
Yep.
you get what you pay for.
You wanna get it the cheap way. Everything, interest rates, pricing, all that is all risk transfer and value. The reason why bank-owned properties are so cheap is not just because they're distressed, because there's bank-owned properties that are not distressed. The reason they're cheap is because there's the lower amount of assurances, meaning the higher risk. So I'm not gonna pay you two of the exact same houses. One comes with a special warranty deed, one comes with a general warranty deed. I'm paying more for the extra assurance that this house is free and clear. Bank-owned, no, those assurances aren't there, at least not all of them. I'm gonna pay less for that house just because it's not there. Interest rates, a risk transfer. The bank looks at this guy and says, he doesn't pay his bills, 10% interest. This guy says he does pay his bills, 5% interest. Because it's risk transfer. There's a greater risk here, so we are going to mitigate that by having their financial reward to us be better. So that's that applies to our industry too. You're going to sell a house and you've got unreasonable sellers and you've done this appointment and you're like, I want the listing, but I'm not working for free, and I just got a hard time selling this house. They want a price that we're not going to get, and it's going to really wear me out, and it's an hour away. Great, I'll list your house for 10%. Why? They may say no. Okay, but I determined that my risk analysis, my time, my effort, the difficult level is so high that if they're only going to do 6 or 7%, I'm not doing it. It's not worth it. So I'm going to spend so much time. I could have done 10 other deals. So I'll sell it, but I'll sell it for 10%. Another one of the things you say when somebody calls you for a listing appointment. What do you charge? I don't really have a set fee. It kind of depends on how much work it is. If I show up and it's just a train wreck, it might be like 20%. Depends on how nice you are to me. I get a lot to this number. It's not just a flat set fee. Matter of fact, how much is your house worth, ballpark? $50,000. Great. It's probably going to be higher than I would do it on a $1 million listing, right? So I'm going to do the same amount, if not more work on your $50,000 house than I am on a $500,000 house. And I'm going to get paid way more on the $500,000 if I charge them 1% than if I charge you 3% on my side. So it's all a part of it. All a part of it. So that's a little bit about bank owned, stuff like that. There's so much more to that story. Yeah, people that they don't have any money, so they're looking for these bank owned properties and stuff. It's not always the best option for them. Could be great.